What up, Wargamers? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Stos, and today we are back for another Let's Hobby. This is my video series where I show you what I've been working on and what I have been getting done. So, what have I been doing? I have recently finished painting a brand new unit for the Orcs and Goblins. Yes, I have been putting some work into the green boys. And yeah, I've completed a brand new unit for them. So that's pretty awesome. And it's a unit that I've been wanting to add to the Orcs and Goblins for as long as I've had the army. So super stoked for this one to be here. And I have actually already filmed a battle report with it. But I wanted to put out a Let's Hobby, showing it off a bit before that happens. So you guys that that are following along with my Let's Hobbies will already know what's coming in the next battle report. So that's pretty cool, a little exclusive. I'm also going to be showing off a model that has already come up in a battle report, and it's the new hero that I did for my vampire counts. Now, he has already featured, but I figured he deserves his little moment in the spotlight as well. So the latest thing that's been added to the vampires will also be getting a bit of a look in. I'll also be showing off some stuff that has been sent to me by some incredibly generous people. So yeah, a little while ago, I was approached by a gentleman by the name of Chris Rabbiter, who just messaged me on the Facebook group saying, I'm enjoying your content and was wondering if you would mind me 3D printing and painting you a miniature. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, absolutely. I'll take a painted miniature. Wow, painted miniature. So yes, absolutely. And he said he wanted it to be, an orc and goblin miniature, like a hero. And he's done it. He's sent it through. And let me tell you, it looks freaking fantastic. So Chris, thank you so much, mate. It looks epic. So you'll get to see that in a sec. And then I was also contacted a while ago now by a gentleman that on the forums goes as Titan Forge. And he actually sculpts his own miniatures for 3D printing, and he sculpts dwarf miniatures. And again, he hit me up being like, hey, I sculpt my own miniatures. How would you feel about me sending you through some? And again, not for promotion or just for free, but in his words, just to help out the dwarven cause. Amazing! Amazing. And so absolutely, of course, I was like, dude, absolutely, I would love some of your sculpted dwarf miniatures. And he sent me through a bunch. Now, unfortunately, I have not gotten a chance to paint them yet, but I think one of the units that he sent me will probably be the next thing that I add to my dwarves as the next part of their reinforcements. But yeah, they're super cool. They're really kind of like, I don't know, old-timey kind of sculpts, kind of like 5th edition style dwarves, and they look great. I think they're fantastic. So Titan Forge, mate, thank you so much. So yeah, we'll get to have a look at all of that in just a minute. Now, if you enjoy this video, guys, don't forget, go through the usual YouTube things, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Subscribing to the channel is one of the biggest ways that you can continue the growth of this channel here. So if you're not subscribed and you watch my videos, guys, hit that subscribe button for me. It's just absolutely does huge things for the continued growth here. We've almost hit 5,000 subscribers. And if I push out a lot of content in the next few weeks, we might make it before the end of the year. It's a stretch. Well, probably not. But you can make it happen, guys. You can be a part of the 5,000. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for me, guys. If you are one of my subscribers, smash a like on the video. Again, just helps with the reach of the video. It's going to get pushed out to people that haven't found the channel yet. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the stuff that I'm going to be showing off today. If you want to go the extra mile and support the channel, think about becoming a channel member, joining the channel. It is absolutely our channel members that are allowing me to continue to invest funds in the channel, continuing to expand my armies with models, expand my terrain collection, battle mats, all the good stuff that's going to keep this channel feeling fresh and interesting. That's absolutely coming from my channel members. So huge thank you to all of my current channel members. But without any further ado, let's have a look at what I've been working on and what I've been getting done. And here's what I've been doing with my vampire counts and my orcs and goblins. So yes, it is a white king or white lord for the vampire counts and a unit of boar boys for the orcs and goblins. Epic. I am so stoked on these guys. Now, we're going to start with the white king though. We'll leave the best till last. So here he is. Here is King Crannon the Mad King. That is, yeah, he's been freshly painted for the vampire counts. Now, those who have been keeping up with my battle reports will have already seen this gentleman in one, but yeah, I just wanted to give him his moment. And here he is. I am super stoked with how he's turned out. I love this model. It's you know, it's a really cool white king or white lord model, depending on the edition that you play. Yeah, just, you know, clearly a king of old, a warrior king with his, you know, his crowned helmet and his plate and chain, his fantastic flowing cape, just a really nice white hero model. Always loved him. I've had him for ages and finally got some paint on him. So yeah, how did I do him? I did him much like, you know, pretty much the same recipe that I did all of the Graveguard with. So as far as the armor colors, I mix these armor colors using Vallejo's metal color aluminium, which is just like a really bright silver that is designed to be put through an airbrush, but brushes on just amazingly. I've extolled the virtues of this paint before, and I tell you what, it's fantastic. Super versatile, highly pigmented. You know, you can mix it down and it's still it just comes out so solid. So for the main armor plates, you know, the chest piece and the shoulders and like the kettle helm, I mix it with burnt umber ink and black ink. And just mix it down until it's that really nice dark bronze color, which I've used across all of the kind of plate armor across the vampire counts. The Black Knights, the Graveguard, they all get this workup. And then I basically just, you know, to then do the more goldy parts for the crown and the chainmail, I use the same paints, but just less black. And it creates this, yeah, I don't know, this kind of burnished old gold, which I think just looks great for the vampire counts. So yeah, that's the metallic colors. I then just wash all of the metallics with Agrax Earthshade, just to dull it all down, and then I'll mix up a lighter version of both of those armor colors just by basically adding some more of that aluminium, the Vallejo air color, metal color into it to have a lighter version. You know, highlight little bits of it just to bang it up a bit, and then you do a final highlight. Oh, sorry, so I also use what is it? The patina color. Nihilakh oxide. I use Nihilakh or Nihilakh oxide. As you can see, just in the, I don't know, in the creases of his, or the recesses of all of the armor plates, and I'll dot it around on the chain as well, just to give it that patina, that blue oxidization, which I've done with everybody. And then I'll get the just pure Vallejo metal color and dot some highlights on the very tips of things, and, you know, dot it around the edges of stuff to make it look banged up and sharp and old. So yeah, that's how I do the armor plates and the armor and whatnot. And then the rest of it is just, you know, just still doing that classic contrast paint method, guys. I've used Flesh Tearer's Red on his, I don't know, his gambeson, his little cowl that hangs around his neck and over his chest armor, as well as under his chainmail there. I also used it on the shield. I used Black Templar for the fur, and then just gave it some dry brushes of grey. For his cape, I did a mix of Leviathan blue and orc flesh to create this kind of greeny blue teal. Is it teal? I'm not sure, but green blue, which I think has actually turned out looking really nice. Which I then gave it a bit of a dry brush with a blue paint. Oh, what was it? Stegodon Green, which funnily enough is more of a blue, but it's a green blue again. Gave it a dry brush of that, and then I got some, some little brush highlights in there as well. Just went along dotting and splodging and scratching until it had a bit of texture on it, because it's obviously old cloth and it shouldn't just look really nice and flat and smooth. So I gave it some texture with some brush highlights. And then more dry brushes at the bottom of the cape. It was Xandri Dust first, and then a Shabti Bone, just to give it that really weathered and old look, where it would have been, dragging on the ground and in the dust and whatnot. And yeah, and then with the blade, again, just doing the usual white blade thing that I always do. So I give it a solid coat of the just the pure silver, pure aluminium, and then give it a coat of athematic blue contrast paint to give it that otherworldly tomb blade, grave guard, white blade thing going on. It's magic, it's evil. So yeah, and I did the same for all the gems. Little gem on his wristband there, and on his crown, and just athematic blue over the light grey of the Zenithal Prime for his little potion there. And there he is. There he is, a white king or white lord to lead the whites when the time comes. Yeah, I'm really happy with him. I reckon he looks awesome. King Crannon the Mad. All right, let's have a look at the Boar Boys, ladies and gentlemen. Look at them. A freshly painted unit of heavy cavalry for the Orcs and Goblins. And I am so happy to finally have a unit of these. I have wanted a unit of Boar Boys forever, but they are, insanely difficult to find and incredibly expensive when you do find them. But I managed to find these on eBay for, a reasonable price, just on Sprue. And so, yeah, I got them. I spent the money and I got the unit, and it's taken me a while to get them ready. The build process took a while, and then the paint process did as well. But mate, I've got them, and as I said, I have already filmed a battle report with them, so expect that incoming soon. But man, they're so cool. Boar Boys are just amazing. They are such a fantastic Orc and Goblin unit. They're just so, I don't know, quintessential Warhammer Fantasy, orcs riding boars. It's just, I love it. God, I love it. So, how did I do these boys? Well, all of the boars, we'll start with the boars, all the boars except for the champs got a layer of wildwood. Of course, I just did a Zenithal Prime over everything. I don't know if I need to keep saying that, but I will. I Zenithal Primed them, so, primed them black, and then from above used white primer to give them just a nice sketch out of light to dark. You can see it pretty dark at the bottom and lighter as it goes to the top. And so yeah, and then just went in with contrast paint. So wildwood for all of the boars, and then just gave all of the fur like some various brown dry brushes. Used I think 3 different browns across the unit, so there's a bit of variation in the fur color. There was Mournfen brown, maybe XV88, and I think Xandri Dust as well. So there's, like I said, just some variation, but they're generally pretty brown. On the tusks all just got Skeleton Horde, all the bone things, same as the teeth for the orcs, Skeleton Horde. The tongues for the boars and orcs was Volupus Pink. Flesh Terrors Red for the shields. And I used Gilliman Flesh for the fleshy parts of the pigs, and then just kind of blended the fur up into the face a bit. So like I would use a bit of a thinned down version of it, push it up into the face, and then wipe it away and kind of just wet blend it in a bit, so that there's not like a super hard line between flesh and face, but it just kind of blends its way through. Funnily enough, I already kind of did this and then decided to look at some some references of real boars, and I couldn't find a real boar picture anywhere of a bald boar face. So I mean, I'd already kind of done it, and I've considered going over it with fur color to make them a little more realistic, but the box art has them like this, which is why I did it initially. But if you look at like the old boars from like, I don't know, 6th edition, 7th edition back, they all had, fully furred faces. So I'm not sure why they went this way with these. I think these ones came out in 8th. But I followed it and I couldn't be bothered to redo it because, like I said, I'd already done it. But I do think they look cool. It gives them, breaks up the sculpt a bit, gives them some variation, makes them a little more piggy, which is a bit of fun. So yeah, I used Guilliman flesh on the flesh, but I also watered down or mixed down some Volupus pink that I put around the eyes and on the snout, just to vary that flesh tone a little bit. Actually went in with, because the Guilliman flesh left some pretty big weird patchy spots across it, which I didn't love, so I did go back in with some traditional paints with your Cadian flesh tone and Kislev flesh, just to kind of smooth it out a little bit and put in a couple of little highlights here or there, because some of them got a little bit heavy with the old Guilliman flesh and it went a little bit, I don't know, a bit splotchy, a bit gross, which, is not the worst for boars, but I just thought it looked kind of crap rather than good. I also put some Volupus pink into the ears. But yeah, that was basically the boars done. Obviously went in with some highlights on the tusks and any of the horns and the teeth with Xandri dust. Actually, I think I skipped Xandri dust. I did, went straight to a Shabti bone and Screaming Skull right for the very tips. And I think they ended up looking pretty good, pretty sharp and gnarly. The hafts of all their spears was just done in snakebite leather, which for me just makes such a lovely wood color, which is very strange, but I think it's great. And for all of the leather straps, I used Gore Grunter fur, because I think that's one of the better leather colors in my opinion. And then for the metallics, I used that same Vallejo aluminium and then mixed it with a fair bit of black ink just to make a really dark metal to begin with. Gave it a heavy wash with Nuln Oil again, just to really darken it down. I wanted a nice dark base to start with. I went in with with a rust wash that I mixed up, which is just classic Scrag brown, watered right down, and then just put that into all the little rivet points around the bases of weapons, all the gaps. It's all got some Scrag brown all throughout it. The bottom of the shield, built it up a fair bit around the bottoms of the shields. And then went back in with the pure aluminium, just dotting and scraping and scratching around all of the edges of things, and then did the weapon halves as well, just where everything would look like it's really banged up and gnarly. And I think it's turned out looking really good. I did go a little bit heavy-handed with some of those scratchy highlights, particularly on the champion, I think. I think I went, I don't know, maybe a bit too heavy on him. I went a bit wild, and with some of these things, less is more. I could probably even go back and Nuln Oil some of these again, just so that they are a little duller, and it'd be fine if there's dull scratches as well as bright scratches. I might even do that, because yeah, I basically painted them from left to right going down the line. By the time I got to him, I was starting to just really go ham on these scratches. And I think I went a little overboard, whereas, I don't know, if you will look at the last guy that I painted, I was starting to get much more reserved with the amount of scratchy highlights that I was putting into stuff. And I do think it looks a bit better, But still, they are done, and I am pretty stoked with them. And again, great sculpts. Really, really cool. I think these were like I said, I think they were 8th edition when these came out, so they were one of the newer models that you could get for Orcs and Goblins. And you can definitely see a bit of a shift in design ethos when it comes to things like the armor. So, classic orc armor, still, even though it was, pretty brutish because it's being put on these big old boys, but it still looked like, I don't know, like it was being made by a blacksmith for orcs, like maybe they'd captured like a human blacksmith and they were forcing him as a slave to make their armor. Whereas this new stuff, these guys' armor plates, in contrast to the Black Orc plates, which are, their pauldrons are nicely rounded, and although beat up, they still look like they fitted and made for them. This just looks like random hunks of metal that's been bent and riveted into shape. You know what I mean? So you can start to see that shift in design ethos, which obviously carried forward into Age of Sigmar, their new units, their, I don't know, mega whatevers. very much share a similar like armor design with these guys, where it is just bent, unshaped metal, compared to the old school stuff, which, you know, did still look like proper pieces of armor, just made for big shoulders. But that aside, you know, design differences aside, I think they look awesome. I really like it. You know, the champ came with an option to put this fantastic, you know, extra grill on the helmet, and of course I had to, because why the heck not? An extra shoulder piece as well, so that the champ, you know, just looks the most imposing. And orc bosses on the tabletop, you know, are significantly more imposing than just the usual rank and file, because as a champ they get not only just +1 attack like everyone else, they get +1 weapon skill and +1 strength. So orc champs are hectic. They're really gnarly. The pig as well, the champion pig with his sweet, you know, head armor and tusk armor is just so cool. And I gave the champ a black boar as well, just to further set him apart, because he's the boss. He's the main one. Yeah, and as far as skin color, again, just going through the contrast, where I mix a bunch of different contrast greens to create, you know, a varied orc skin color. Which mostly I'm happy with. I think they look fine when you look at them, but when you then put them next to some of my other orcs that are, you know, just done in the kind of traditional painting methods before I started down the road of contrast paint, some of them are really bright. You know, they're a vibrant green, some of them. But the way I do it is I mix Plague Bearer flesh and Orc flesh, as well as one of the new contrast Orc flesh paints that are just a bit more opaque and a little bit less like a wash, which I think is Gut Ripper something, Gut Ripper skin, Gut Ripper flesh, something like that. And yeah, mix of those three in varying degrees and varying amounts to create a bit of a varied hue across the unit. So you can see, you know, there's some different orc skins going on here. Some are darker, some are lighter. The lighter ones in particular, I feel like I could maybe go back in and darken down. You know, this guy here, he's pretty bright, you know, that kind of stuff. But all in all, you know, little niggles aside of how bright some of the orc flesh is, I am super stoked to have this unit. Super stoked to have them finally done. It takes me a long time to paint a whole unit of guys, man. But I am very stoked with them. I think they look pretty great. And it's super cool to have some heavy cavalry for the orcs. You know, there's been some people calling for some faster or heavier hitting boys for the orcs and goblins, to maybe give Matty B a leg up if and when he comes back in and faces my dwarves again. So when that day comes, he'll have, you know, some heavy piggy boys to help, you know, open those cans, which is super cool. So there they are. There it is, guys. That is what I have been working on and getting done with my vampire counts and orcs and goblins. Alright, and here is the 3D printed and painted model that was sent and gifted to me by Chris Rabbiter. Ah, mate, look at this beast. Now, if I am not mistaken, I think this is an Avatars of War 3D print, and jeez, what a fantastic miniature, and what a bloody amazing job old Chris did. So Chris, thank you so much, man. This guy is just epic. What a beautiful paint job, and what a sick model. He came with a name as well on the package that he sent it to me, and this is Brog Pork Chopper. So sick, Brog. So basically, as soon as I knew, because he asked me, you know, what do you want an orc on foot, or do you want one mounted? And I knew I already actually had the boar boys, I just hadn't built them yet, and I was like, mate, give me a mounted hero, and that'll give me the impetus I need to get that unit cracked out. So the moment he'd confirmed he was printing and painting me a mounted orc, I got cracking on my boar boys. So yeah, man, what a boss. Tell you what, Avatars of War do some bloody nice miniatures. They do some of the best. Them and Highland miniatures are some of the best 3D print, like, I don't know, proxies that are out there, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Yeah, just look at him. Beautifully, beautifully done. Lots of highlights. He's even gone and painted in a checkered pattern on the base. What is that? The head of the axe, on the axe beard. Amazing. So cool, man. What a truly imposing orc model. Now, the one thing I will say after using him in a game is he does not rank up well. You know, they've made this beautiful model with a large amount of overhang on the base on either side. You know, that arm is hanging well and truly over the edge of the base, as well as this, you know, this outrageous shield, which is just enormous. Look at this slab of shield that this guy carries. So, you know, you have to be creative in, you know, how he gets into the unit, but still, mate, he is such a boss, such a beast. The war boss, the Black Orc war boss, Brog Pork Chopper, so cool. All right, and here is the sculpted and 3D printed stuff from Titan Forge. So he's done me 25 of, you know, Longbeard style dwarves. A Thane, you know, with his little shield. It's not there. It's, you know, ready to be glued on. Sweet looking Thane up on a rocky outcrop. And a unit of 10. Ooh, dear, a unit of 10 Quarrelers. So awesome. Look at these guys. God, they're so cool. They are really, really nicely done. Let's have a look at some of these Longbeards. The Longbeards, I think, are just so awesome. They're very reminiscent of the, you know, the old metal Longbeards, which I love. They are probably, the old metal Longbeards are probably my favorite dwarven miniatures, and they seem to be the same for a lot of people. And these ones are very much reminiscent of them. You know, they've got the very long beards, they've got the double-handed weapons in the crook of their arms, shields, you know, they're gonna have shields out the front as well. He's also done me a bunch of shields to go with them, you know, really cool little sculpted shields. Yeah, just look at these guys. Look at this man with his like flat top kettle helm. It's so awesome. I really like them. I like them so much. And they're all just in the chainmail, which is fantastic, because honestly, one of the main gripes that I have with the newest sculpts for the dwarves, apart from the Ironbreakers I love, but the Hammerers and the Longbeards, Hammerers to a lesser degree, but definitely the Longbeards, you know, they're still just wearing what appears to be Gromril armor. They're all in this kind of like really fancy ornate plate. And it just, there's not enough differentiation between the Longbeards and the Ironbreakers. Ironbreakers are supposed to be in the full plate Gromril, and then you put those new sculpt Longbeards next to them, and they just kind of look the same. I mean, obviously not exactly the same, but there's not enough of a difference between the armor. So these boys, just in their long chainmail coats, clearly are just wearing heavy armor. You know, they're not in some pseudo Gromril plate, which is perfect. And they've got their fantastically long beards, the double-handed weapons in the crook of the arm. Man, these are sweet. I really, really dig them. Yeah, God, they're cool. So yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be my next project for the dwarves. Get some Longbeards painted up and get a unit of Longbeards on the field. That should be fun. I've always wanted to get some Longbeards out, and now I got these bad boys. I am going to do it. And yeah, look at them. Look at them. Sweet little command group with the banner as well. Now, I did actually recently buy the command group, the original metal command group from the OG Longbeards. So probably I'll paint those to be the command group of this unit, just because, again, they're probably some of my favorite dwarven miniatures of all time. But nonetheless, like, look at these guys. God, they're cool. And I imagine if you start, I don't know, if you Google Titan Forge dwarf miniatures, you'll be able to find this stuff. Because, man, this is awesome. And then the Quarrelers as well. Quarrelers just look freaking awesome. Beautiful, cool little sculpts. Really nice. Like, there's just so much character to these boys. The little quarrels down, the little crossbows. Yeah, awesome. Awesome stuff. So I do only have one unit of Quarrelers. Another unit painted up would be pretty sweet. So these guys will get added at some point. And now look at this. Look at this. He is also printed and sculpted a Stoss dwarf. Look at that! With the square beard and the high hair. Amazing. He sent this being like, maybe this might have happened as well. There's one with the axe up, and then one with my my classic double guns pose. Oh my god, dude, thank you so much. That is so funny. I've got a little version of me as a dwarf. And I'm just wearing my t-shirt, my classic t-shirt, as always. Axe on the back. Mate, these are amazing. Look at me with my flat top. So cool. So cool, man. There was a couple of other fun little things in the gift as well. There was like I don't know, like a guy with a double-handed hammer, and a kind of like Malachi Mackison, like Slayer engineer style dude, as well as I should have got it out. I didn't, but a dwarf that's basically on like he's an old dwarf on a wheelchair with like little axes as spokes. Rad, it's amazing. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to find it. Got him. Here he is. Look at this guy in his little wheelchair. He's got like a cane in one hand and an axe in the other. Oh my god. Yep, he's got a bunch of axes and stuff on his back. He's got axes as spokes of his little wheelchair. What a fun little miniature. Got a little blanket over his knees. Look at that old dog. Just ready to go rushing into combat. Maybe I'll put him on like a blue tacked his arm on just for the look of it. Maybe I'll put him on like a big base and have him as like a unit filler or something. That'd be pretty cool. Oh man, so good. What a cool and fun little miniature. I pulled out the other ones as well that I mentioned. A little dude with his double-handed hammer, big bald head and a lovely little cape. And this is the like Malachi Mackison engineer with his bombs and whatnot. Very cool. Very cool. What awesome stuff. So well done, Titan Forge, mate. You make some very cool stuff. So thank you so much for sending this stuff through to me, mate. But yeah, oh yes, and also actually just worth noting, this is the box that he sent it in, and in the top there, I don't know if you can see it, but it says in, you know, like pseudo Kazalid, may your maternal ancestors be well looked after, which is, you know, be good to your mother. Right? And be good to your mother. He's done a little, like, you know, take on my catchphrase in the top of the box. Dude, what a beast. What a lovely thing to do. So how cool is this? But yeah, there it is, guys. There it is. This is the wonderful stuff that I've been gifted recently and what I have been working on and getting done. And there it is. There it is. Another Let's Hobby done. In the books. Finished. Huzzah. So yeah, yep, I've added a new model to the vampire counts, my White King, the Mad King Cranon, a full new unit of boar boys for the Orcs and Goblins, and I've been, you know, gifted a fantastic hero to lead them, which is super epic. So, you know, expect to see Brog Pork Chopper and his pork boys, you know, in a game coming soon. So that's super awesome. That's super cool, and I'm loving the stuff that Titan Forge did for me for my dwarves as well. Really cool, you know, really, like I said, old-timey style sculpts that, you know, that I love. They're really nice. So huge thanks to you guys, mate. You incredibly generous and talented people that have decided to just reach out and, you know, gift me this awesome stuff. So guys, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this video for a little while, and I've just, you know, it's been kind of sitting in the background, ready to be done. So I thought now that I finally got those boar boys done, it was time to show off some stuff. So yeah, I think I want to do those long beards next for my dwarves. But I do have, I think the next unit that I'm going to start working on is a big unit of spearmen for my vampire counts, some skeleton spearmen, because I've got them built and primed and ready to go. And spearmen are pretty quick. At least the last unit that I did, the first unit that I did for my vampire counts, got knocked out pretty quick. There's just not that many colors, you know what I mean? It's bone, red, metallics and spear halves, and they're done. So, and I'd like to, you know, vary the core choices in my vampire counts a bit. So I won't, you know, I can start taking 2 units of spearmen rather than a unit of spearmen and a unit of zombies, and then just raise zombies as need be. Or start with, you know, 3 really small units and expect to raise them by the time I get there. You know, a unit of, I don't know, 15 of each, like 15 zombies, 2 units of 15 swords and spears, and then just hope to bring them up by the time I find the field. Just so, yeah, so I can kind of vary the core choices a little bit more. Because although I thought I had a lot of variation with, you know, a couple of units of wolves, couple of units of ghouls, it still hasn't been that much. So I think some skeletons in there will help. I want to do some more Black Knights for the vampires as well. So similarly, I can have a big unit of Black Knights with the vampires. I want to do a mounted vampire to lead that unit as well. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to do, but I think the very next thing is going to be those spearmen. And then depending on where I'm at, I think I'll pivot to these Longbeards. So super cool stuff on the way. I have more stuff to keep varying the Orcs and Goblins as well. I've got a couple of boxes of squigs and herders to make a big unit of like squiggers, a big unit of squig herds, as well as a unit of squig bouncers from AOS, so that if need be I can have some bouncing out of the unit, which I've never had squigs before, and they seem again like a really cool unit. And hard hitting, again, it's one of those things that people have kind of asked for the Orcs and Goblins. You know, hard hitting units. So, and squigs are surprisingly hard hitting. 2 attacks apiece, weapon skill 4 and strength 5. Squigs are gnarly. They are, you know, a little unreliable and fractious, but if they get there, man, they will eat through some dwarf armor, no problem. So that sounds cool. At some stage, they're going to be coming for the Orcs and Goblins as well. But yeah. There it is, just another quick Let's Hobby just to show you what I've been working on and what's coming up. Now, if you enjoyed the video, guys, go through the things, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, links in the description. But until next time, I'm Stoss, happy wargaming, and be good to your mother.